Hey, welcome to episode 5 of the Bad Batch podcast. I'm your co host, Justin Samoy, and I am with my pals, Drew Crispo and BJ Davis. In today's episode, we will discuss The Gallery, which is only one episode for season 2. It's the documentary about it. And then we will also be answering additional questions that we did not get to last week. So let's talk The Gallery.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, welcome back. Glad I'm with all you guys back for the new year
Oh, yeah, Happy New
and
Year.
for some new Star Wars too. So we got some good things to look forward to. Um, so basically, as Justin said, we're gonna go over the gallery. And this is kind of for anybody that doesn't know what the gallery is. It's at its base a overview of the making of the Mandalorian, whether that be through directorial stuff, actors, story, music, all kinds of the behind the scenes that you want to see. In my opinion, I highly suggest it for anybody that's either followed us like in the Mandalorian breakdowns or just a casual view of the Mandalorian. I think it is well worth your time. Um,
Yeah, and this one's
but I guess
straight
kick it.
source. So it's like
Yeah,
coming from them. So if you haven't seen
exactly. Yeah. And this season, I think, was surprised me a little bit because last season, I think, was episodic. So it was like every single week was a different one. This just felt like they threw a bunch of stuff at you at once, which I think was cool. It was like a lot to digest and a lot to see, um, which we'll break down here. But yeah, overall, I thought it was just awesome. I always like these kind of things.
Yep.
What'd you think about it, BJ?
So, first starting off, the skeleton in the first episode of the second season of Mandalorian, I'm sorry, that monster, that worm dragon monster thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Great Dragon.
Yeah, was a skeleton on was it Tatooine?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought that was awesome how they brought that back and then like reconstructed it and showed how they like made it flow through the sand and everything.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome when they like broke that down completely and like brought that back out of essentially a background piece of prop.
Yeah. What else? The graffiti. I thought that would have been a perfect time to like hint at Sabine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I know.
That would have been great.
Well, I like that's one of the things that you wonder, like maybe they'll go back there and like that'll touch on it. But the way they were like we were saying, like they just go so in depth with this stuff. Like remember they were talking about how like there's some artwork at the bottom that just Jawas did, and then the rest were like for different species and stuff. That was, I mean, just so much thinking.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, the attention to detail from like anyone who's working on the set or behind the scenes, like the people you don't really hear about outside of the actors, directors, and writers.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've been killing it. They killed it in the sequels too.
Yeah,
with everything like set design. Props to them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I didn't know. Like, I think it was like each episode had like a different director.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like Ron Howard's daughter, who was in Jurassic Park.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah,
I thought she like did such a good job with it, and like even seeing her like behind the scenes just gave you more appreciation for how much in a high regard she holds Star Wars and how like much she was excited about it. I just thought it was so awesome to see, like, and that goes for all these directors and all these creators and stuff, but just her in particular I thought was such a cool thing to see, like how excited she was because she did one episode last season. It was the one with the woods, and
it was the one Cara Dune's introduced, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was cool just to see her get to have a little more important episode. And the stuff they talk about too, there was like parallels between her dad's movies and hers. Like she was doing an homage to him when the Razor Crest is falling through the atmosphere, and it's like basically like a spaceship would look in real life. Like it's just catching all that fire and stuff going through the atmosphere, just like in her dad, like Ron Howard's movie. Was it Apollo
13?
13?
The one with Tom Hanks.
One of them? Apollo team? One of them? Yeah, Apollo.
Yeah, I also got Revenge of the Sith vibes.
Mm-hmm.
With when Anakin and Obi-Wan are crashing into course.
Yeah, exactly. It gives you a little bit of like realistic like physics to it in a way, which is cool.
Let's see what's next. Well, I also bringing back to the directors, all of them were like such super Star Wars nerds. It was great.
I know, how cool was that?
Rodriguez. I loved how he to show everyone else how he wanted the scene. He got his kids to like reenact it and got like
Action figures.
That was great. I love that.
And
Yeah,
it's
he was
funny,
funny.
like,
He didn't do one last season, right?
no, I wasn't very familiar with him.
Mhm.
And after seeing this, I was like, I'm so pumped that this guy is going to be executive producing the Boba Fett thing, just because he cares. Like I said a million times before, he just cares so much, and it like definitely shows. Because he even said in it, he was said, I wanted to give Boba Fett as much appreciation as people have had for him in the last 40 years, and I wanted to do him justice because I never know if he's ever going to be used on screen again. So I wanted to give that to the fans.
Yeah, that
which
was
I
cool that
just
he
think-
said that. He's like, I want him. This could be. I don't know if this is the last time you'll see him or not. So I want him to be just 200%.
Which is how you should always go about it. Like
Mhm.
that makes so much sense, because if you just keep leaving it to other directors and other people to do stuff, things are going to happen that A, you don't want to happen, or B, that people are maybe not happy with, because
Mhm.
you're segmenting them out, if that makes any sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think
going
it's
back to
important
your
also that all the directors got together and like discussed
Mhm.
like what the whole storyline was going to be, because I don't know if they did that for the sequels. Not, I like honestly, I think Ryan
No.
Johnson he could have done a better job, but I feel like if he had his own trilogy, it would have been better. Like just by
Mhm.
himself the whole way through instead of just switching around. But that's a
or
different
maybe if they
topic.
collaborated, yeah.
We'll discuss the sequels another time.
But BJ, kind of like talking about what you were saying, where it was refreshing that they're all like super nerdy about it.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool when Robert Rodriguez was talking about how when he met Dave Filoni and John Favreau for the first time, and he showed them that like clip he made with his kids. He was like, they just started firing off and talking about all this stuff, and he was like, I sat back in my chair and I was like, okay, these are my people. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's who you want in
Exactly.
Star Wars. That's who you want helming this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it makes a whole lot of sense, I think.
Yeah.
No, so who was your favorite director out of this season?
Oh man,
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez is really good. I'm blanking on his name.
Is it Rick? I can't say his last name.
Not Rick Famuyiwa. I don't know if he did
Famuyiwa?
one. I don't know if he did one.
No, he did The Believer.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, so
Okay,
I
nice.
see the
That's
Bill
good.
Burr episodes.
Like who was the Marvel director that did the final episode and also did episode
Taika?
or chapter 2? Who is it?
Taika?
No, it wasn't Taika. It was the guy who did Ant-Man. Peyton Reed.
Yeah.
Peyton Reed. Yeah. He did a good job. But yeah, I don't know. I just like and maybe they just didn't go too far depth into them, but I really liked Rodriguez's and Bryce Dallas Howard's like attention to detail. Because even with Bryce Dallas Howard, they were talking about how she was filming in a way on the boat because they were on the water, and she was filming like she would film if she was out on the ocean. She wouldn't use any shortcuts, and she said that was something that Jon Favreau like told her.
Yeah,
which is cool that they're again collaborating.
Yeah.
I love that. What else? They did a great job. Like most of the stuff was like filmed inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Except
in the what's that thing? What is that thing called?
They called it a volume.
The volume, yes.
That's like the
They're
coolest set ever.
Yeah. Except the episode when Grogu was on like the pedestal, like reaching out with the Force.
Mm-hmm.
That one was actually filmed like on location.
Yeah, they said they were like somewhere outside LA, I think.
Yeah, because I remember I saw photos of people on a hike, like there's stormtroopers in the valley.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing.
I remember that.
Yeah, no, the volume is going to be so big for like so many of their projects, but yeah, it's cool. And then it was also cool they broke down the episodes. Like BJ, I know you love the Ahsoka part. You can
talk
about that definitely.
Wearing my Ahsoka shirt right now.
Oh, there you go.
There I go. Just seeing her go from cartoon to live action was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It was great because like Ahsoka's like one of the only characters you've seen like from a child, from basically a child all the way grown up, like, and she's so important. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, like it just shows how she has a role. And I thought something really funny that Dave Filoni said, which I'm sure, I mean, especially you, BJ, would have loved to see her last season. But he was saying how, because he comes from a background of animation, and
Yeah.
so when
Last
people were
Airbender.
calling for him, yeah, exactly. So people were calling for him to take over Star Wars in general when there was a bunch of like infighting and stuff. And a lot of people were just saying like, he's not quite ready yet. He needs to do some more live action before he like either gets a movie or TV or whatever. And then he even said that in
Yeah.
this episode, he was talking about how he was like, I wanted to put her in season 1, but I thought I would screw it up. I
Yeah,
needed
you,
like the
didn't want to
experience.
mess it up. Yeah.
Mhm. I mean, that's just a great lesson. I mean, life lesson for anything, like taking your time to like perfect either your craft or perfect things before you rush into stuff. I thought that was just
Yeah.
Some things it's easy to just dive in, but more things need the whole planning process. Make sure everything is squared away. Which also, actually, when you brought up the infighting, this is outside of the gallery. Just a question I have, and that
Go for
I
it.
saw, I think, brought up on Reddit or YouTube somewhere. Do you blame Kathleen Kennedy for the sequels or anything? Because I've seen comments where it's like, oh, like Disney ruined the sequel trilogy, but sequels or Disney is also in charge of the Mandalorian, which is insane with Kathleen Kennedy and all that.
So I think I don't know. It's kind of complicated.
Yeah, no, I'm
think that
interested to
Kathleen-
hear. I
I
actually
think that
don't know.
Kathleen Kennedy is probably one of the most talented producers like of all time, and a bunch of people say that, right? Like people who worked with her say like she's an unbelievable producer. The problem that it looks like is that, and I mean, who am I to talk? I just have a Star Wars podcast. I'm not like involved in Star Wars or anything, and I haven't done anything in this realm. So I'm just pure opinion here. I just think that like when it gets more involved with the creative stuff, and she's more involved with that stuff and kind of getting directors, it doesn't always work out. So like if you look at the movies, there was a problem with almost every single director. Like outside of Ryan, like I heard there were some problems with JJ. Like Colin Trevorrow was supposed to do 9, she cut him. The Who are the brothers? I forget their names that were filming Solo. Where is it?
Oh,
Solo.
yeah.
She cut them halfway through. Ron Howard came in. It was basically a completely different movie, apparently.
Was it the Coen brothers?
It was it the Coen brothers? I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. But then Rogue One, Garth Edwards apparently lost the reins like halfway through, and someone else was doing a bunch of the other stuff. Like it's just a bunch of stuff like that where there's always a problem. And I think that she gets a lot of unnecessary blame too. Like I think a lot of stuff is not her fault. But when you're the head of Lucasfilm and things like this are happening constantly in every single project you're doing, then you're going to take some of that heat. But I don't know if it's necessarily her fault, because then you look at like she's still in charge right now.
Yeah.
She's still doing all this stuff, coming up with all these like signing off on all these projects. But I think she's learned, like I don't know if she's learning. What do I know? But she's letting these other people like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and all these creative people do their thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is not quite what was going on in the sequels, where it was just kind of like, you get your movie, I like you, you're gonna do this, you don't have to collaborate with each other. That's just kind of my thought on it.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious because I do believe that she gets unnecessary hate, but I also haven't done in-depth research on it. So I just looked it up. I thought she was like a marketing background person, but she was just a producer. So
but I will say, I mean, the blame like for stuff when you are in charge does always fall to you. So I mean, yes,
that does make sense too.
So I mean, it's a rocky road, whatever way you go, I think. But yeah, do we have anybody else have any final thoughts on the gallery?
I do know what your final thought is. if you want to bring it
Just
up.
a few more things. It was cool seeing the Star Destroyer model, like in the detail.
Oh yeah.
It was like a
Yeah.
Lego, but like more detailed.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that
And
was
that goes back to
awesome.
like the original Star Wars, how they would do it, which is just
The miniatures.
super.
Have you
Yeah.
seen the so if you're listening and you haven't seen how the first like the original trilogy movies are made with like starship battles and all that,
Mm-hmm.
look it up. I think it's CGI Reacts does it. The people
Yeah,
from War Digital,
those guys
they
are
do the Star
great.
Wars, and it's insane the amount of work. And like, if you know like layers in Photoshop and just design apps, there's like they have real life layers, kind of similar how Disney did it with like their old animation, but with like
Mm-hmm.
ships, and it's insane. They'd like cut out holes in the film. Look it up.
Revolutionary stuff
Mm.
at the time. Yeah, no, I mean those guys are great. Yeah, definitely do that. But it's funny because in the first season of Gallery, a little throwback for you. Um, it was funny because John Favreau wanted them to use that technology for something
Hmm.
for the shots of the Razor Crest coming over. Like I think they showed that in season 2 as well. But he was even saying at the table, he was like, "Yeah, I mean, we could have done that in the computer, but I wanted it in a model. Also because I know that the director and executive producer gets to kind of keep the props they want. So now I have a tiny Razor Crest sitting in my house." He's like, and that's partially the reason I did it, which I just thought was funny because
Yes.
that's definitely something that I would do as well.
Oh yeah, I would have a problem. Already have a problem with inanimate objects and having attachments to them. So that would
Same.
not be good.
I think we all do.
Yeah. What else we got?
The model scanning. I talked about that, and them using it for the background and the volume. That was
Mhm.
really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dark Stormtroopers, just reiterating how badass they are, like how
Yeah,
they made them.
and just pulling stuff like that from legends and stuff,
Yeah,
and just making it canon again is just something that Dave Filoni excels at. And literally everything he touches, he's always bringing stuff in. So I don't know. It's just always cool. There's always cool stuff like that,
yeah.
and that stuff was unreal when you see it in live action.
Last thing, I think we're gonna see. I don't. I don't know why I put this here in my notes. Moff's backstory. I think we're gonna see that next season.
Yeah, like something that is coming to my mind now. I forgot someone. Love to give them the credit. Can't remember who it is on YouTube. It's somebody. I'll probably figure this out later. Someone was saying how what if it's like Moff Gideon is kind of like Silence of the Lambs, like
Anthony
Hannibal
Hopkins.
Lecter.
Yeah.
He's
Sorry.
like where he's in the prison and someone's like coming to visit him, and then you get like all this backstory from him being in prison,
Oh yeah.
which could be interesting.
I literally just had a thought like that off the rip, similar to that, but I can't think of any movie like this right now. But when there's like they have a prisoner and they just come along with them and they're kind of annoying and they're like in chains the whole time. But then they're
Like
like,
kind of like Bill Burr this season.
yeah, oh yeah, exactly like that episode. Stupid. But yeah, no, that would be cool. Kind of get the insights of someone evil.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, then we could learn about like how he got the dark saber, how that all happened, like any
Yeah,
of that.
I really think his backstory is just gonna connect to the fall of Mandalore, and they're gonna
Mhm.
go through that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think
Yeah.
we'll have to get it.
I mean, yeah, though it's going to be a long road, and unfortunately, if you listeners aren't aware, apparently the Mandalorian season 3 has been pushed to 2022. So we have a little bit of a longer wait
But
than we
when did
thought.
that get announced? Was that this week?
Yeah, it was like a little bit a week or two ago, I think. But good news is that as we know, the Book of Boba Fett's coming out in December. I believe Ahsoka's coming out in December. Am I right on that?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Okay, and then Rangers might be coming out in the in that kind of time period too, and all those apparently are working towards like a culmination of one storyline. So we're still kind of getting our fix, but it'll be.
I thought Rangers was post sequel trilogy.
No, that's Squadrons or yeah, Rogue Squadron. Yeah. But yeah,
The
That'd be cool.
Ahsoka show's
Hopefully we
gonna be
get
around
Sabine.
Christmas.
Best
around
character.
Christmas, cool. I think that's gonna be good, and that'll lead us into probably part of our next segment with as you guys know, last week we did a little bit of Q&A, right?
Oh wait, no. I have something to bring up.
Oh,
with
sorry,
Gallery.
yeah, jumping the gun.
This is something that you and me talked about beforehand. How they didn't mention Luke Skywalker in the gallery at all.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, definitely. I was
His reveal, and I was
forgot
expecting them to talk about it because I was checking the timestamp and there was like 6 minutes left or something. I was like,
Mhm.
all right, cutting it close, but they'll talk about Luke here. I'm like, well, you know this. I'm not a huge Luke fan, but I was like excited to see what they did with him. But they didn't have like any shots of Mark Hamill on set or anything. I guess they did. My first thought was that they wanted to keep it under wraps completely, but I don't know.
Were you guys hovering over like the end of it, seeing if you could kind of see if they were gonna do it? Like talk about it. I was like,
I was more like, I understand because no one knew about it. So I'm like, no wonder they didn't put it into the gallery.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I just thought they would talk about it in the later episode, but this season is just the 1 hour special for it, which makes sense. You don't want to see the same thing over and over again because I guess it would get redundant. But I mean, I wouldn't mind behind the scenes for each episode.
Actually telling us like what was going on, like how they did that.
Yeah.
Which like of course watch like next week they'll drop a 30-minute or 40-minute long gallery on that. We'll be like, great.
Or if they didn't do it because Sebastian Stan was the stand-in.
Yeah. And it just blows all of our minds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was right. I would
Alrighty.
But yeah.
All right.
So we go with the gallery. Also, one disappointing thing about the gallery, I gotta say, and my only knock on Dave Filoni, Penguins hat.
He's a Penguins fan.
That's terrible.
I mean,
come on.
That one hurt, but I will take it in stride.
Yeah, like did Disney have to like pay that organization? Will remain unnamed from me, but
you can't even say it.
They have them featured on the gallery on a Disney thing. That's crazy.
I can't even think about it anymore.
Also, love the new posters behind you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, for all you listeners, I got the whole original trilogy poster set up. So we have a little bit more Star Wars background for me going on than I was angling with before.
And BJ's in space.
Love it.
Yeah, my room is just space themed, so
perfect.
It's just perfect.
But yeah, so
one more thing I saw, George Lucas holding Grogu. I don't know. Was it the wine? But I got like a little emotional.
What, George Lucas with Ahsoka? How about that one?
Ooh, that one was just awesome. But like he was holding Grogu, I'm like, oh, that's like a little 53-year-old man, but that's fine.
With another
kind of cute.
I don't know.
It's an old man holding an old man.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Wow. Yeah, I did like that. It was cool to see George back and doing all that stuff. I love to see that.
Yeah.
But I was touching on this a little bit earlier, but we'll go into a little bit Q&As after this. But do you guys want to touch on a little bit of personal canon updates for everybody? I know some of us are dipping into some different parts of Star Wars outside of the TVs and movies. So take it away.
Yeah, no, I'll kick us off here. I was expecting more gallery episodes to be released, but obviously there was just that one special. But I realized outside of this podcast, I've been just doing way too much, or maybe not enough, Star Wars. I've been playing Battlefront 2, Fallen Order, The Force Unleashed, and we also, I know BJ pre-ordered it, and it comes out tomorrow, which is January 5th, and that is The Light of the Jedi. Let me pull up.
I'll be ripping that on Audible.
Yeah, Drew cannot read, but
I have never learned yet.
Well,
I'm hoping this book teaches me.
Yeah, no, it's going to be about the High Republic. So I believe that's the same era with Revan. So that would be cool.
Yeah. And the cool thing about this because this is a huge project going forward. And and there's a bunch of books and written material. I think they were talking. I watched a live stream on it today actually, and they were talking about how in a company with like normal adult books, they are also going to be doing like young adult books. There's a bunch of new comics coming out in this time period, and they're doing like weekly magazine stuff, which is cool because I know they used to do that in the past, and now they're kind of getting back to that. But yeah, this one's called Light of the Jedi, right?
Yes.
This is
Yeah,
kind
but
of
yeah,
like
the whole High
beginning of all
Republic
this.
series.
Mhm.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So if anybody is interested in like, if you guys like the Jedi in general, or the Jedi Order and the Force and all that kind of aspect of Star Wars, this is definitely going to be. This is like what they said is their golden years.
Yeah,
right?
this is peak Jedi. So if you think like the Clone Wars was peak Jedi, yeah, these
Get ready.
people are next level, or these Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Wookiee too, another species, I imagine.
So, do you think we'll want to review those and do all kinds of stuff with that kind of stuff?
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll want to cover that, but I mean, I read at like a not a great level as BJ, so longer. So maybe
Yeah,
we'll do.
we'll see how long it takes me to read it too.
Hey, if you guys want chapter reviews, let us know.
And Drew will give you an audible review because me and BJ will take a while to read it.
Yeah, I'm actually writing the Spark Notes version of it too. So
You're
Oh.
writing this right now, Drew? Nice.
Oh wow. Yeah, BJ worked for Spark Notes if no one knew that. Yeah. So you guys can thank him later.
Justin, was there any other Star Wars stuff you've been?
I mean, a lot of Battlefront 2. I've watched Han Solo or Solo Star Wars Story twice the past 2 weeks.
Wow.
I've just been on a huge Han binge for no reason, nonstop.
And this is your first time playing Fallen Order the full way through, right?
Yeah, so I mostly played it this weekend.
We got early thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's frustrating with some points. Like
Mhm.
it's not even the puzzles as much because I know you were telling me about that. It's just some of the jumping, like just when you're like skating, you're like surfing down this ice cavern. It's cool, but I missed this stupid jump like a million times, and I'll like die enough to the point where I have to go back. It's just not fun. But I just got the double-sided lightsaber, so it's pretty cool. And yeah, so if you haven't played Fallen Order, it stars Cameron Monaghan. He is from Click. He's the kid who gets a baseball thrown in his face, but you probably know him
From
better from
Click?
Shameless or Gotham. Yeah.
Oh my god, I did not know that. I did not make that connection.
I didn't know I was
Oh
gonna
yeah, I
say
forgot he
that
was in
until I was talking.
Gotham.
What?
I forgot he was in Gotham.
Yeah, look, let me show you the kid. Yeah, he plays the Joker-ish character.
Yep.
But yeah,
Gotham spoilers.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
yeah, this is him in Click.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah,
That is
Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, I guess he's been in a bunch of stuff. But yeah, dude, that game can be so frustrating. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna watch the cutscenes and just the cutscenes.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing, playing this game, a lot of fun. Also, The Force Unleashed. This is a game like 10 years old. Oh, it's 2021, like 15 years old. Whatever, it's a fun game if you haven't played it. It's just pretty much God of War, but you're a Jedi.
And these games, like especially like the older games and stuff, are if you're really into Star Wars, which I don't know why you'd be listening this far into the podcast if you weren't, but these things are cool to keep in mind because, like I said earlier, like they're always pulling stuff. So if you're someone who likes stuff connecting and getting pulled back and stuff, these are certainly things to keep in mind for future Star Wars projects.
Yep.
This is the Han I use. I'm freaking nice with him. Just wanted to throw that out there. And also listen to what Drew said.
The solo Han.
Perfect. Well, anybody else been anything new? I'm sure we'll have more to talk about in this segment with the Light of the Jedi next week. But
actually, so I was on Disney Plus after watching Solo, and I started watching like just shorts. I watched Rebel shorts, just like quick, and then I found Star Wars Force of Destiny, and it's more like they're just shorts, but like of like the female characters.
Yeah, I've heard good things about those.
Yeah, I actually looked
No
up
idea what
reviews
you're talking about,
and
so I'll
yeah,
hear more.
and people were like, "Oh, why do they have to like pander to the women?" I'm like, "Come on, there's just more stories and more Star Wars content and how like they influence like big or small like the galaxy."
Yeah, I don't
And
Yeah.
understand how Star Wars fans can complain about more Star Wars.
yeah,
I mean, it's the Star Wars fandom, and they're going to complain
yeah,
about literally anything and everything they can.
yeah,
I mean, let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah, that's true. Very toxic,
yeah.
but fun to be in still.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it has moments, but yeah, I mean that's a really good thing to if you like animated stuff. That's a good thing to check out. And I'm pretty sure they have like all the actual actresses and actors and stuff from the live
Awesome.
action counterparts. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that, but I think I heard that somewhere.
Oh, I'm quoting you.
Oh God. But yeah. So
I'll look into that.
Haven't either of you watched Resistance, Star Wars Resistance, or no?
No,
no,
Yeah, don't
I
plan on
saw
it.
it was like I saw it was more geared towards kids even more than usual. So
yeah, I heard it can be a tough watch at times. I
yeah,
heard it's
and it
like
doesn't really connect to anything either, except like BB-8's in it.
yeah. I guess if you like pilot stuff, check it out, but not my cup of tea.
Yeah. If
But
you do
yeah,
watch it though and you're listening, like that's totally fine. I know that there are people that will. Maybe we'll look up just the story, just so we know what happens.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
If you guys really want us to review it, let us know. Maybe we won't do it. Maybe we will. Who knows?
maybe
I'm
we
not
will.
making you any promises. I'm just trying to make you feel better.
Dive
All
into the
right.
question.
So yeah, let's dive into the questions. So last week was super fun. I think you guys can attest to that. I really enjoyed doing the questions from everybody, and we were texting after we wrapped recording, and we were just sending each other screenshots after screenshots of people who submitted their questions late, and we don't really want to leave those people out. So we will roll them now.
Yeah, we probably should have asked it 24 hours before we recorded, so we
at
didn't wait
least.
for all the
But
questions to come in. But we did it the same day, I'm pretty sure. So,
Yeah.
oops.
I think I had that thought too. I was like, I feel like we should have done this in the morning, and then we all kind of posted on our stories at like in the afternoon.
Mhm.
Which I mean, we still got a good amount of questions.
Yeah.
So if your question got answered last week, congratulations.
All right, so
Here, I'll start.
off? You got it.
I'll start. So the first question we got, in episode 3, why didn't they wipe R2's memory and they wiped C3PO's memory? And then follow up with that, why didn't R2 remember Yoda in episode 5?
So I think these are one of the like plot holes in Star Wars. 'Cause I don't think George Lucas was just like, you know what, 20 years from now or 15, however long, I'm gonna make a prequel version.
Yeah.
He obviously wasn't planning that far ahead, but I think they didn't wipe his droid, maybe specifically because he's an astromech droid instead of like a protocol droid.
Mhm.
Like R2's main focus is piloting and being a co-pilot for starfighters. And while C3PO is like kind of an assistant, not that that means anything, but maybe that was just who it was Bail Organa, right? Who told them to get their memories wiped.
I
Uh,
thought it was Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan was like, hey, wipe these droids or wipe C3PO and not in
Yeah.
episode.
Wipe
I
the
don't.
protocol
It's
droid.
been a minute since I've seen those. I'm not sure.
Whatever happens in Revenge of the Sith. And so I think that's like, I can just say that to myself, and I'm like, that's a good enough answer for me.
Make yourself feel better. Yeah.
Because I don't like. Also, I don't think a lot of people can understand R2D2 to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I think like C3PO, he's more like a social robot. Like he's more likely to like talk.
Mhm.
Maybe that's why they wiped his memory so he wouldn't, accidentally say everything that's happened and like where Luke and Leia are.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I think this might fit it. because R2D2 is an astromech droid, he has to have navigation maps. And if you wipe his memory, you wipe everything useful about him because he knows where everything is in the galaxy, even where Luke's whereabouts are.
Yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense.
So-
I always think like if you want to go with like there's always a way to figure out like an in-universe like answer to it. But like Justin, like you were saying, like I don't think they had any idea. So but yeah, I mean that's a really good point with the navigation stuff and C3PO being a protocol droid where he's all about intelligence and stuff.
Mhm.
And then also like I think it kind of just fits R2's personality. Like he would definitely be the one to figure a way out of that where C3PO would just get like screwed over and just like
Yeah.
oh no.
That sounded just like him. That was pretty good.
Oh, stop.
Do it again. Actually, no. All right,
Yeah, and then the second half of that, why Yoda didn't recognize him. Yoda, or in other way around, Yoda's like 900 years old. First of all, he's senile.
Yeah, exactly.
He's literally dying.
On
top of that, like even when he was dying, he was like, "Luke, you're the last Jedi." When he wasn't the last Jedi.
Yeah, there's a bunch more.
Yeah, I feel like he was losing his mind, and then R2 was just trying to keep the secret secret.
Yeah.
He just placating him.
Yeah.
There apparently there's a part in what book was it? I think it's called From a Certain Point of View. It came out recently. There's a segment in it of Yoda's point of view on when he's watching Luke before he goes over and acts like an insane person in episode 5. And his point of view, like there's an internal like monologue where he's talking about how funny he thinks it is that R2 ended up with Skywalker's son and how the Force just works in mysterious ways, which is definitely them just like patching that plot hole.
Yeah.
But I think that's cool too. And maybe he didn't
From a certain
say it
point of
because-
view, canon.
Yeah, it just came out recently.
Okay, I just didn't know if it was like because I know the guy who's writing the Later Republic, Charles Soule, he has a story on there.
He's really good.
So,
but yeah, I think that I mean, it's the same thing with Yoda, R2 and like Obi-Wan. I think maybe if you want to look for an answer, it could be that they were trying to protect Luke. I mean, the same thing why Obi-Wan and Yoda didn't tell Luke that Darth Vader was his father.
Yeah.
Like maybe he thought he wouldn't believe him or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and then it also doesn't make for a good story.
Exactly.
Imagine just knowing everything all at once. It's a short movie.
Gotta build.
All right, so Drew, you got to ask this next question. Did we answer that? Yeah, Yoda and then R2 memory. Okay. Do you want to ask this next question? Because I know you got this one.
Yeah, definitely. This one comes from our good friend Jake Powell. So Jake was wondering if we think that they're going to bring back Ezra. And I think all of us will answer with a unanimous
Absolutely.
yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know that's
I think they're going to bring him back in the Ahsoka show because they didn't bring
100%.
at the end of Mando.
I know. BJ, you're like, they better. They really better.
They better.
No, I mean, 100, they have to. Like, what is that show going to be about if it's not that?
Literally.
And then everybody who watched Rebels is just like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, the last line in Rebels is like, all right, let's go find Ezra. So
yeah. And then last line, or not last line, but Ahsoka was like, where's Grand Admiral Thrawn?
Oh yeah.
It's like, why would you just be looking
Rebels.
for one and not the other?
Mm-hmm.
They just forget about him.
They're just like, oh yeah, we didn't tie that up.
Like, oh, we're just looking for the blue dude. It's like,
yeah, we'll figure that kid out later.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that kind of solidifies that 100%, Jake. Yes, I think they will bring Ezra back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope they bring back all the rebels with Zeb or Ezra, Sabine, Hera, and Chopper. I was like, what's the droid's name?
Yeah.
Chopper. And then Kanon's dead. Rest in peace. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. 5 weeks in a row. Here we go.
I just need to put that in the intro.
No, honestly, you shouldn't be listening to this if you haven't watched Rebels.
If you haven't, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool.
Canon
Well,
dies. He blows up, but he saves everyone doing it. He's voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr., aka Fred from Scooby Doo.
Han
Oh,
Solo
wow.
dies and is killed by his son Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Yo, stop! I didn't watch the sequels yet. Guys, I actually watched the sequels. Okay, you
Thank
guys
God.
are really concerned now.
All right, Justin, who we got up next?
So this one comes from our good pal Will. Why do the old Republic commandos slap so hard? I can't answer why they slap so hard, but they definitely do. And if you don't know what these guys look like, I'll share my screen right here. It reminds me of like Master Chief from Halo mixed with a clone. He looks pretty cool. So, or she. But they're pretty cool. You can use them in Battlefront 2 also. They're very strong. They're very tanky characters.
And
why do they slap so hard?
yeah, I mean, they do slap. And it's funny because these are basically kind of like what the Legends version of the Bad Batch was, which I
Mhm.
think is cool. And I watched the Bad Batch trailer again.
Oh yeah, they're in there.
And I think they are in there. So we'll get ready because they're about to slap even harder.
Yeah, they literally might slap. Okay, this is just a side question with me. If anyone dies in the Bad Batch, who do you think it is? Out of the Bad Batch.
No, I think Wrecker's gonna be fine.
I don't know. Maybe the guy with the glasses.
Tech?
Yeah.
I think the dude with the long hair.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like they're gonna gas him up and like make him like try to make him everybody's favorite.
The Rambo.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally is Rambo.
Yeah, quite literally.
Or it could be who's the clone with him? Fives.
Mm-hmm.
They could kill Fives because I mean he's died before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Well, this question leads in perfectly for our next one. BJ, you wanna set this one up?
I think I know what you're saying. Do you know which one it is, BJ?
I do not.
I can
Do you
rip
think
it
the
if you want.
Bad Batch will be working for the Empire in their TV show? From
That comes
a
from
good friend
another.
Drew. Not this Drew, a different Drew. But he's our friend.
What do you guys think?
I think at first, yes, and then they're gonna see how they are not helping the galaxy, and they're gonna break off and be their own, like maybe join the rebels or something.
Yeah. I after like I said, I watched the entire trailer again just because this got me thinking earlier about like what is actually gonna happen. And it seemed to me like they're gonna set it up like they're gonna play out and do all this stuff, but as soon as like 66 and all this stuff starts to happen, that I think they kind of start to get disenfranchised with it and completely go against it. Because in parts of it, I mean, it looks like it's gonna be a lot of like an adventure show, but it also does look like they are like shooting at other clones during it, which is interesting. So I think ultimately they're gonna go against it. And as far as like I think there was a part that Drew was wondering about like the regarding the chips in their heads.
Oh yeah.
I think personally, like Justin, were we talking about this at some point where we were
Yeah, I think we
like
talked about this on the podcast, or maybe it was just us on a call. But
they're just like all mutated or something?
yeah, I think that they just go
Yeah,
along with the orders because it's their orders at the beginning, and they're like, "Oh wait, like, this probably isn't right."
Mm-hmm.
Yo, what if they go around and like actively help Jedi? What if
That
they
I was gonna
say-
ask a question. Do you think Jedi
I think
will be in it? A Jedi that we like? What if we? I don't know.
I think Grogu's gonna be in it, honestly.
Yeah.
I really
Think
do.
so?
I think Baby Yoda's gonna be in it, even if it's just for like a little bit, like they help him get to where he needs to go. And then
Oh, we answered
That'd
that
be
question in the
cool,
Bad Batch.
actually.
Cool.
yeah, and then they like maybe they fail. That's where they fail, and then he ends up with Din.
Yeah, and for Star Wars, talk about getting people to watch your other shows. You know, they're like, well, this question's answered in this show, so you have to check this one out. And they're like, we are just making money hand over fist.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude! If they saved Baby Yoda, that'd be tight.
Yeah, that would be tight. But yeah, I think. Do we all think that pretty much that they're eventually going to go against the Empire?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
And
no, it's gonna help them.
Since they haven't shown up at all in anything original trilogy afterwards, maybe they all die.
Yeah, you could have a little Rogue One situation.
Rogue One ending.
Spoilers.
Yeah,
for
Rogue One,
One.
they all die except for Vader.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we could end up with a situation like that, which I don't know, when you tie in together a one-off story it can be cool.
I mean, the Clone Wars is kind of a dark show, and it's like same animation style of the Clone Wars. I mean, in the trailer, the Clone Wars logo sheds into the Bad Batch logo. So
Yeah, it looks. I mean, the animation itself and stuff looks really good. So
Great.
yeah.
Drew, would you like to ask this next question from our pal Chuck Jack?
Yes. So like Justin says, comes from our good pal Chuck/Jack. He wants to know: are any of the suns in the Star Wars galaxy actually real, or is it all facade? I'm just gonna go ahead and quickly answer this one. And as we know, the sun is a myth. So we're I believe that the Star Wars universe follows those all known rules as well.
Yeah, my least favorite part about Star Wars how there's not a flat Earth, which is why I really respect Thor movies with Asgard being a flat land.
Exactly.
So
Just some real physically correct movies is what I'm really all about.
stay flat.
Just horizontal.
That's all I need. All right, so who we got next?
Another one from Brianna.
Great.
Did Darth Vader technically follow the rule of two when he killed Palpatine?
I would say yes. So I think the rule of two is kind of more complicated than just there's always two.
Because there's always been
because-
more than two at a time. There's always like
Yeah.
a secret apprentice.
So that's like the whole thing, right? So they're always like, and that's like the apprentice's like job basically is to get another apprentice to like kill the master and then become that. So it's like this always going cycle, which is like when you think about it, it's like really the rule of three or 2.5.
Yeah.
You know?
Rule of 2.5.
Yeah, literally. And it like it's always like that's what they're ultimately supposed to do. Like he's always like strike me down and become stronger than blah 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 blah.
No one could ever imagine. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it there's always that, which yeah, it's like
The rule of two is kind of confusing because I guess you do get if the way they describe it, there's only so much force around. Like all the dark side energy will be like more dark side energy will be flowing through them, but then also you're at like such a disadvantage. And since Darth Plagueis is canon, Darth Plagueis was the master to Palpatine, who is the master to Darth Maul. There's three of them, and Darth Maul still loses to two Jedi among like thousands or hundreds. I don't know how many are at that time. So is it like
10,000.
really worth it?
Yeah.
Darth Maul didn't actually die though because he survives. Spoiler alert! But then he dies again.
Can't say spoiler after you spoil it.
We should just call this podcast spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I mean, if you watched Clone Wars, Solo, Rebels, you'll know.
That he's alive and then dies again.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like it's a great question because the rule of two is like something that is so just
Super confusing.
It's
You do some work.
It's convoluted and
yeah, I guess technically, well, he didn't die, so technically he didn't die, but he did kill his master. But I don't think Vader was doing it for the rule of two. He was doing it for Luke.
Oh, at
was
that
like
point, it
reversing
was
himself.
killing Palpatine.
yeah, almost reverse rule of two. We'll switch back action.
Okay. Last question.
Yeah.
Who was Palpatine's lover? In 5 and 6. Now, I was thinking about this. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't really make any sense. But in Rebels, when he showed up to Ezra, he looked like normal-ish. He was older, but he looked normal, you know? So I feel like he could do whatever glamour, whatever, to make himself look somewhat more attractive.
Yeah.
And it was also the answer of clones.
Yeah. So here's like I mean, and here's where I get more like upset with the sequels just because like things aren't always said. So after 9 came out, right? They had the novelization of 9 and of Rise of Skywalker, I should probably say. And apparently Rey's father was just another clone of Palpatine. Like they weren't like he wasn't like, you know, getting down and getting dirty. Apparently, I mean, who knows? Maybe it was.
I don't
Who
know.
knows?
He wasn't. No one got pregnant from him.
I allegedly,
Okay.
or no, Ray. I guess Ray's father didn't, but like all these were like failed clones, which is just like another thing that just frustrates me
So
about.
yeah, so he's technically Ray's dad, like twin, so uncle.
Kind of,
I don't know why they didn't talk about it. They
that we
should
saw
just.
in the movie was a clone, and it was the essence transfer. That I mean, I don't want to get started, but that's just why I can't like some of the things about these movies, and then they undo a bunch of stuff in the books. Like, this is kind of going off topic, but like in the book they talk about Ben and Ray's kiss. They're like, oh, it was a kiss of friendship and admiration. You're like,
They wrote that in the book.
yeah. It's like, then don't put it in the movie.
Friends kiss. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. It's just that kind of stuff where I'm like,
I don't
but
know
sorry
if
to
it's
derail
common
that
knowledge.
question completely.
So yeah, I don't know who Palpatine's lover is, but just going off of that, it was a common knowledge that Finn is force sensitive, or did I see that in like a JJ interview afterwards?
It's highly hinted at. I don't know if they talk about it in the novelization. Because that's the thing he's trying to tell her the entire time.
Because
It
people are
comes
thinking it's
off,
going to be that he loves her, but he knows.
but then they didn't tie it up. They're just like, hey, think whatever you want. And then they were saying how like if you go back and you look, he like is force sensitive. And then it's funny because I know this isn't like, I mean, it's canon, not canon, a little bit of fun, whatever. The Star Wars Lego holiday special is literally based around Rey training Finn to be a Jedi. So I think it's like either Disney having a laugh at themselves or maybe that they're just like, no, we were saying this all along.
Yeah, and also, but making him force sensitive makes it so that when he's keeping up with Kylo in the Force Awakens, then it makes him make a little bit more sense because Kylo should have just wiped the floor with Finn's body. I don't know. I like Finn.
But you said there were like different directors, so maybe they just kind of scrapped the Finn idea.
Yeah, I mean they did him such a disservice. It is really, it's awful what.
Yeah, John Boyega's a sweet actor too.
Talk about like so. Apparently, what was supposed to happen was Finn was supposed to be the Jedi from nowhere, the one that went against the new or the not the Empire, the First Order, and then became a Jedi, and he was the guy from nowhere, and then Rey was the one with lineage, and she was apparently at one point supposed to be Kenobi, and like all this stuff was supposed to happen, and so you had these parallels of nobody and lineage, which would have made a lot of sense.
Made a lot of sense. That's what everyone was like theorizing.
Yeah, and then John Boyega like was really upset after the whole trilogy because they basically like screwed his character over, and I'm right there with them. I think they screwed him over. I would have loved to see a Finn.
Yeah, there's a video from like 5 years ago when the Force Awakens trailer dropped, and it's like a reaction of him watching the trailer for the first time. It's like the coolest thing ever. He's like freaking out in his house, John Boyega.
Well, apparently when they were marketing it in they're marketing it in China because they get some of different trailers and stuff. Yeah. They marketed him as a Jedi. Like they were like, he is a Jedi, just to like sell tickets. And then they're like, thanks, buddy. And then we're gonna basically write you out of the other movies.
Yeah.
So little rant tangent. Our episodic me ranting on the sequels. But
dude, I remember The Last Jedi trailer being one of the coolest trailers I've ever seen. And like the amount of hype going into that was really cool.
I was pumped. And then I wasn't so pumped.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But yeah. So is that all the questions we got this week?
Yeah, I believe that was the last question, unless you guys have anything else.
Cool. Yeah, I think this is something that we kind of want to do. And we might have touched on this last week, but we will probably do these Q&A only videos or podcasts in the coming weeks and maybe like once a month, something I think we talked about. But we would like to do something like this about maybe like every episode, maybe do like 2 or 3 questions. So if you guys ever have any Star Wars related questions for us, whatever, feel free to shoot us a message on whatever you want, any social media. We'll plug those all at the end, and you can find us all there.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be like a when we put up a poll or something like that. If you're just like, oh, I wonder what they think of this. That's cool.
Pretty much any thought for us, just let us know, and we can. You'll have to stay tuned and see if your question gets picked. And that's all the fun of waiting till the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Another thing, I guess, before we wrap, how you guys feel about a solo episode?
Oh yeah,
solo Star Wars story, I should say.
Oh, Justin's like, I already have it annotated. I read the scripts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Dude,
so
okay,
I'm down.
You guys keep talking. I'm gonna go and grab something real quick.
Great. Yeah. I know BJ, you just watched it for the first time, so
yeah. All I'm gonna say is I actually really liked it. And yeah, I wasn't expecting the end.
Yeah, definitely.
I liked it.
So I think the deal we might work out with you guys, if we can get a couple more reviews and a couple more ratings on our podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, we'll do a little trade with you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe you'll get lucky with those dice on if we do a solo episode or not.
Yeah, if you're a listener, and we also haven't put up any video podcasts yet, but we will this week. I swear.
It's coming.
Boom. Sabacc dice. Han has it in the Millennium Falcon. It's also all over Solo. And it was in The Last Jedi, actually. Right?
Yeah.
Or is it Force Awakens?
Yeah. It was in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, because Leia has it.
Yeah, and then also it's in A New Hope. But yeah, I mean, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll have guests at some point. Maybe for that, who knows? It really all depends on you, the listener. If you can head over to Apple Podcasts and just let us know how you feel.
Yeah. You can be as honest as you want, but just put 5 stars because that way we'll see it faster.
Yeah, we get an alert if it's 5 stars, and if it's 1, it takes like 2 or 3 day processing, and
Drew has this force thing where he can like tell if you did 5 stars, right?
Yeah, so we would appreciate that. I guess with that being said, I'll let you guys get to that. You know where you can find me, Bad Batch Podcast on Instagram, Drew Crisp on everything else. I'll throw it to you guys.
Yeah, I am at Justin_Samoy on everything, and then follow at the Bad Batch Podcast on Instagram. And BJ has explicit content, so he's going to remain silent.
I do not. I do not.
But yeah, with that being said, thanks guys, man. That was I always love the questions. Going over that stuff.
Yeah, thank you for listening to the Bad Batch Podcast. Tune in next week at 8 p.m.
Peace.
Peace.